I mean, you did hear me over your recording.
Mm-hmm.
That's the...
What do you want? What's the best? What do you want me to do?
Just record everything and we'll send him everything and he'll do his best.
Okay. And so I'm recording on GarageBand as per usual, and I should record on Zoom?
Recording in progress.
I'll record on Zoom.
Okay, great.
You don't need to.
Well, here's what happened.
Wait, I'm not recording. Wait, don't start.
Welcome to that spiritual, actual, factual answers to questions he asking. You find them inside you, reciting the records. Akashic, we laughing, we drafting the passion through various. Time for that comedy, dramedy, all of the fanciest, catchiest acronyms. Listeners, listen, we traveling. Consciousness is always unraveling. The reading you're having is mapping you back to your natural habitat. Abracadabra, it's magicless, fascinating. To top it off, the host, all the classiest. Now, what were you asking for? All of the answers, what? All the answers.
Okay, we're all going good if everything's going good. What happened, Katie? What's going on?
In our building, how do I tell the story? The shortest version is they were running for 3 hours this morning. 3 hours. A make sure the fire alarm works thing.
Uh-huh.
So for like hundreds of units, there's a lot of buildings in our complexy thing.
Yeah.
So it was a like that, plus music they were playing over it because they thought it would drown out the so it's like this and it was nightmarish and it was loud. And so I taught today from 11 to 3, which is why we're starting late.
How'd you do that?
Well, so it started at 9:30, the sound, and I had a client from 10 to 11 who I canceled because I was like, I won't be able to hear the words you're saying, and we need to reschedule, and here's why. And then I hustled for an hour to find a co-working space that would allow me to bring my dog, who was experiencing pain from the sounds.
So many things.
Okay. So not only did I need a co-working space close by that I could get to and get set up in within an hour for the long class where all the people from all over the country were coming, but it had to allow me to bring the dog. So I had to talk to a lot of co-working spaces because it just was complicated. Found a place. I'm now at Jack London Square in an office inside of a co-working space.
Wow.
And I've been sitting here teaching all day. And now here we are doing this.
We're doing great. We're killing it.
So I didn't bring...
And then you have another client after this.
I do. I have a half-hour feedback session after this, which, hold on a second, because... So, Desmond, I not only give you permission to hire a bounty hunter and just take me out, just put me out of my fucking misery. I encourage you to do it. I support you. I think you should... I'll pay for the bounty hunter that you hire to just sharpshoot me from across the street.
Yeah, you're done.
Today's my last day.
You've had it.
I haven't had it, but I would really understand if Desmond has had it, is my point.
Yeah.
I don't want to die, but he should do what he needs to do. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that would just make it so that he had nothing to edit. And then I don't know if that's preferable or not.
Well, I think so.
It might be fine. For the listener, we're complaining before you came on. Katie doesn't have headphones, so there might be weird noises happening. That's all for Desmond, not for us.
Yeah, we're fine. It's mostly later when he tries to edit. It's I went backwards in time. He sent me an arm that I'm supposed to hook up to my microphone. Don't have that. Don't even have my microphone.
Oh, right. You're just using your onboard right now.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Oh, you sound pretty good.
Well, good. I was legit running out of the condo, grabbing items because there was so much to do in such a short time.
Wow.
I just didn't.
How are you? For real. This is a genuine question. Check in.
Oh, yeah. No, the thing is, how I actually am is great because I get so much personal juice from teaching human design. 4 hours of that. So since you were kind and let us start late so I could eat lunch, I now have done a thing I love doing for 4 hours and eaten. So I'm good.
Great.
I just felt bad for Desmond. Holy fuck.
Oh, boy.
So that happened. Good news on the Katie front. We got, and I want to talk about this, blinds in our house.
I was like, where is this going to be? God, we got a gig. We booked that staging. We got blinds. Oh, cool. That's nice for you.
got the kind of blinds that you, with a remote, you can lower them from the top,
Shut up.
from the bottom, either way.
With a remote?
They go meh, and they go up, or they go meh, and they come down. Oh my God. It's like, talk about elevating a space. We live in a museum now. We live in a hotel. We live in the lap of luxury. I'm obsessed. I can't wait to go home just to stare at the blinds. So that's all. That's an exciting little piece of fun timiness.
Nice.
Yeah, we're finally going to have a friend over and have beverages in the new pad because enough of it doesn't look like ass anymore because
I'm looking. Oh, I guess I didn't get that text. That's interesting. I didn't see it. I guess it just didn't. Though we must have. It's fine.
It's the Wi-Fi.
It's the Wi-Fi.
My thing with you was I kept inviting you to shit while you were out of town, being like, "Hey, you want to meet me at the?" You were like, "Bitch,
Katie,
I'm not."
You know, because you're coming down to see me that I'm out of town.
I'm not where you live now.
Well, I want to give big props to my girl Katie, who came down one weekend planning to see the show in advance and do an adventure. And then at the last minute, had to cancel going to the show part because of life, but still came down to do the adventure. And then the next weekend drove all the way back down there again to see my show on its closing performance. So I thank you. That means a lot. I appreciate it.
And you're worth it. And new Katie, the second half of life, Katie, my astrology.
The off the roof. What is it? The jumping off the roof, Katie?
Not quite, almost, but this is more astrology talk. My South Node is in Aries, independent, make it happen, do it yourself, directive, masculine, Aries, fire. Old Katie in the first half of life, South Node, where we come from, what we were when we were younger, would have been I can't go back down there. New Katie, Libra, North Node, connection, community, beauty, family, the arts, people, love, is I am going there for Cassidy because I love him and I want him to know that I love him through my actions. So here we go.
Wow. Yeah. And I know old Katie pretty well. So I was like, that's awesome that you're talking about coming back down. I put no stock in it. I did not rely on it, to be honest, but then you did. And I was like, you were on the road and you were texting me. And I was like, I'm on my way. I was like, what?
You're like, no, you're not.
I literally got a text while I was with people. I don't remember when it was, but I was with some folks. The fellowship had come down, little polycule that we have there, had come down to see the show Saturday. And then it was Sunday morning and we were out for breakfast and stuff. And I got a message from you, a voice message. And I literally said to them, I was like, well, let's take bets on what this message is. Sorry, I'm not going to make it. I mean, I hope you're not insulted by this, but that is what I assumed.
I know.
And then you said you weren't, you were. I was like, what? That's amazing.
Okay, now let's learn a thing.
Great.
Because this is how nobody has to feel bad in any of this.
Yeah.
I know my design pretty well. And I know that I'm built. So all the homies out there listening who have open ego people are inconsistent, unreliable with plans, promises, commitments. And it's correct for us to be so.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you also happen to have a lot of individual circuitry, which I have, which is very it's about me and my self-expression and my self-care and me. I don't have a lot of tribal. I don't have a lot of collective. I have a little bit of collective, but I actually don't have much tribal at all. So my close team and my people, it's just not in my design for that to be the main priorities. So there you go. Justified.
Yeah. It's
correct for you to be inconsistent with your promises and commitments and to not codependently say you're going to bet ahead. However, /and when astrology is real also, and I am in the Libra portion of my life, and they're both occurring. So I know that my tendency is always going to be self-pres 8, but I got this Libra pull now to the way I'm holding it is how do I say it? If I were to have stayed in my Ariesness, because I had an Aries North Node, I'd be well, that's just correct for me. And I love you and I'll tell you I love you and show you other ways. But it so happens that it isn't. Do you know what I'm saying? I've got a Libra pull, but with all this self-presiness also. So it's a very funny combo of energies.
Well, that's why I think all of these things, human design, astrology, Enneagram, all these things they're not deterministic. They are strong influences on our everything, on our life, on our But within all of that, there is free will. So you might be like, ooh, I want to live into my Libra pull right now, rather than be totally okay with also being true to my open, whatever it was that you said earlier that was open and made you not more likely, or the circuitry. I can also live into that circuitry and be okay.
Right. That's the thing. It's like the terms, the practice, the study, the lingo or whatever. It's there to empower us to not judge others and not judge. Like, it's about loving ourselves and others. And I happen to be in a place where, like, in my old incarnation, it would have felt self-denying and not good, like a boundary cross for me to go down there twice. I know it would have.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel that way now. And what I want to say too is this is because of all the relational trauma healing I've been doing. But look how it's all connected. So,
And I wonder, I'm going to toss a wrench into this.
Yeah.
Had I put in some expectatory juice into that, I wonder if it would have made it worse, if it actually would have made it less likely that you came down or more likely. By expectatory juice, I don't mean spitting, expectoration. I mean, I think that idea of like, oh, well, you should come down. Like if I'd shoulded you at all.
There was a little pressure.
I didn't give it to you.
No. It came from inside of me, a pressure from your disappointment. So you were a little disappointed that I couldn't.
Sure.
That's normal.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I hear that. I don't want, that sucks. I felt a little internal pressure to make up for it or something. But I looked at that closely and I went, okay, am I trying to prove I have worth and value? No. Do I actually just want to show my friend that I love him? Yes. Do I also actually want to show my friend that I love him in this particular way? Yes. Do I have energy for it? Generator, sacral.
Do I have energy for it? You did.
I did have energy for it.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, is like it all lined up pretty nicely.
But you see how it's like, as long as there's no dishonoring of self in the giving to others, and as long as there's no dishonoring of others in the honoring of self, for real, for you, the individual, I think you're golden.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And it turns out the show's pretty good, right? You liked it.
And so then there's that. Did we talk about that on here yet?
No.
Holy fuck. I know what it was. I know what it was. I did one of my 3-card spreads, I think on Friday. What the fuck day? Who am I? What day is it?
Today's Wednesday. You came on Sunday.
Monday, I did a 3-card spread and I gushed about your play and I gave.
Oh.
Yes.
I'll have to listen to the 3-card spread.
You should. And I gave people shit because I was like, you should see it, but you can't.
Because it's too late. It just closed.
It was so good. I loved everything about it. Let me say a few things about what was good about it, and then I'm going to stop rambling. My God, it was so nice to see a piece of theater that was good and inspiring. Also,
and you wanted to be there. Like, that's the thing. It's like that energy of like, I could leave or I could stay, and that doesn't matter. That's so common in theater. Like, I don't hate this, but I don't need to be here either.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I wanted to stay. They did such a good job handling this somewhat complex Shakespearean piece that would be easy to be hard to follow, was made easy to follow by the direction and the acting. It was just very nicely handled. They did a lot of what I would call, you guys did a lot of, the direction was very, how do I say, like on stage, lower tech versions of solving creative theatrical problems. Like wheel on the thing and there's a guy inside the thing, or wheel on a door and change in plain sight behind the door, or pretend to play an instrument that's not really being played. Like, but what I want to say about it is they were such clever, fun, creative solutions to staging challenges. Fun to see someone directorially handle a theater piece that is that complex in that way, when usually these days we would rely on a lot more high-tech tech.
Yeah.
This was like physical objects on stage being shown transparently as the thing creating the solution to the challenge.
Right.
Like you see Cassidy himself on stage pull the ropes that make the gymnastic aerial flight happen of another actor who's putting their hand on the other end of the rope and being lifted into the air by Cassidy himself.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I love that shit. This is one of the first times, and I don't know what this means, but often the scenes felt like interruptions to my actions that I wanted to be doing, like pulling on the ropes and lifting this thing and carrying that and playing that instrument. Oh, now I got to go say some fucking lines with my character.
I could see that.
That's a little bit of exaggeration. I absolutely loved playing the characters. It was super fun. But like, I never went and sat in the dressing room once during the run of the show. Even at intermission, I'd be like presetting a prop and doing a thing and talking to another actor and then standing in the wings, watching their scenes while they were happening. That's rare. It was a true ensemble, which is pretty fucking rare.
So rare and so beautiful.
So that was fun.
Also, I want to praise you personally for your lecherous 1960s creepy guy that you played.
Thank you. Iachimo, Iachimo.
Funny, light, creepy all at once. Like you managed to be like semi-rapey as a character without me hating the character.
Right. That's the challenge of that guy. Oof.
Yeah.
He's pretty awful.
Yeah.
He does some creepy shit.
So he redeems himself kind of at the end by telling the
Somewhat.
He
tells the truth.
He tells the truth.
Yeah, he tells the truth.
I mean, and I find that to be an appealing character trait when someone can fuck up and then own it.
Yeah.
He's not a saint, but he's grown.
Yeah.
And then but you're also so funny. And the staging and the choreography they gave you guys with when you would like walk in sync and do some snappy move. Oh my God, it was so funny. And the jackets you were wearing, the flower prints.
Yes. I want that jacket. I might be having to find that one. They wouldn't give it to me. I wanted them to give it to me.
They should have.
It's like a flower print blazer. It was gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Gorge.
And Michael Ray was so good and solid. And his like creepy, like 60s sex guy was funny too. He wasn't as
Michael Ray, who will be on the podcast in a few weeks. So,
oh.
Yeah. He has a story of grief, loss, and transformation to share with us.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Ugh, it was so good. And like we said, like 99% of the acting, A pluses.
Yeah.
And
any misses were like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, a little tiny, it's easy to, whatever.
Yeah.
There's always something. But it was just, and I mean, I myself, who have done a fair amount of Shakespeare, still sometimes have a hard time tracking what the fuck is going on in a Shakespeare production if it's not handled well.
Yeah.
It was handled really well. Everybody knew what they were saying.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. And it was staged in such a way to make things like, oh, these guys are over here and this guy thinks he's that guy. And this is okay.
Yeah.
Very well handled.
Well, props to the director, Ken Kelleher. That's sort of his juice. He's really good at pointing the arrows where they need to be pointed, focusing the attention where it needs to be focused.
And then I just want to say that lead actress.
River Navai, who played Imogen.
Yes. That actor. Let me just gather how.
They used they and she pronouns, just so if you want to throw some theys in there.
There was this thing where, I didn't look at the program until intermission.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at this actor and I'm going, what is it about this person's face that doesn't match their hair? Now, for the listener, let me just say that the actor was playing the lead female romantic, like sort of ingenue lead, and was wearing a green, girly, fitted at the waist dress, right? Very femme, very girl, very whatever, binary female vibes.
Yeah. With
a yellow, like bob to the chin, slightly wavy haircut. And I kept being like,
that doesn't look right.
Well, how it landed for me is like I was pulled in by there was some kind of disconnect for me between their face and their hair. And I kept being like, I can't put my finger on what is happening here. Cut to, there's a moment where it's revealed that this has been a wig. The wig is removed because in the play, the character has to now pretend to be a male person.
Yeah. And so they, quote, cut their hair. But in the moment, it's just a transformation on stage where two actors come out and bring out a new outfit and strip off the dress and pull the pants so that they are now pants. And then the last gesture they do is whip off the wig that she's been wearing the whole time.
Mm-hmm. And then it's revealed that the actor, actually, their natural hair is this very short, not past the eyes, very short brown hair that fits their face perfectly. And what I want to say about it is that oftentimes the opposite will happen in theater, where you see the person as they are, and then a wig is placed on them the transformation comes from putting a wig on.
And then they look weird.
And it's always a little, you don't buy it. But in this way, it's so played out that it wasn't that I never didn't buy it. I just was compelled by it because I was like, what is happening there? Is that just a very interesting, unique looking human? That is an interesting looking human. Look at that interesting human. And the acting, they were acting their fucking ass off and they murdered that fucking role as far as I'm concerned. And then the wig comes off and it was such a satisfying because it sort of answered this question that I was sitting there with going like, something's happening. Oh,
I can imagine you just turning to the person next to you and just going, aha, see?
But the other thing that was fun about that was the way that it played sort of passively with, we're in a moment in our culture, like trans rights are spoken of finally. And trans culture is alive and communicated about and something that a lot of our country is struggling against and resisting. And it's in the world now. So like, if I think about having seen that play 20 years ago, it'd be like, oh, a girl playing a boy, playing a girl. Like that's what Shakespeare does, the end.
Yeah.
This was like the fact that the reveal brought them to the actor for this audience member. It felt like, there you are.
That's an interesting thought.
Yes.
That it actually revealed their truth.
That's what I'm saying. That when the female, I don't know how to say these words. I'm going to fail. I don't know how to do it. This person in the Shakespeare version is the fake part of them. They're pretending to be a boy. The wig is removed, which reveals them to be sort of non-binary looking, correct for themselves. Whereas usually, and in the past, it would be the opposite. I thought that was so perfect for the time we're in.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally does. I love that. I didn't even think about that and I agree with you. I had the same thought when I met River with the short hair and then eventually they brought the wig into rehearsal and I was like, oh, that looks okay.
Right.
That looks fine, but it doesn't look right. But you had never seen them and it still felt wrong.
Correct.
So that's interesting. And then as soon as they were able to be their true self, which was in the play, their hidden self.
Yes.
Or their character self, or they're playing at something. But
yes.
That's cool. That's cool. That reminds me of that production of As You Like It that Rami was in that I was raving about, where most of the characters were played. Well, most of the actors were trans or non-binary or gender non-conforming. There was one cis gay man. There were no cis straight people anywhere in the play. And specifically the two women in the play in As You Like It, Celia and whatever, I can't remember their names, who go into the forest. It's the same. It's the fucking trope he's done way too many times, but they go into the forest. In order to pass, they have to dress like boys.
Right. That's always his thing.
And just both of them were played by trans women. So people who had been assigned male at birth, the actors had in their life, and now are women, but we're now going back in that other direction and playing men. But and you can kind of feel all sides of that.
Yes.
And so there was no overt statement being made, but it just added to a layer of like, yes, this is exploration. Like this is an inquiry into the gender binary that is deeper than just, hey, you could play a boy, or, and again, in Shakespeare, it would have been in the 1600s, it would have been a male-bodied person playing a female, going back to playing a boy, playing a woman who is playing a boy.
Yes. Yes. So that brings me to your point there is I love that. The other character, you have to help me with character names, shorter, a little more femme, but possibly non-binary.
Oh, Charlie Lavaroni, who was playing the servant.
Yes.
And had played two servant characters, basically. One significant and one very minor.
Do they use they, them pronouns?
Yes.
Okay, that actor, let me think a second. Something that all actors can fall into that we know about a lot is pushing, right? We all can push. And we talked about some of that. That actor had so many moments where they did the opposite of push. Like I call it pulling energy. They like stay inside themselves and pull you in and make you have to kind of lean in because they're not going to push it for you.
But it worked. It pulled you in.
love that. When an actor's not like, see me acting now. An actor's just like, here I am saying words. You're going to hear me or it's up to you. I don't care.
It's funny because they also have a few of the, we'll set aside the other actor who's shouting the entire time. And that's, he was supposed to, the director wanted him to. But, but Charlie, why can't I think of their character's name? Doesn't matter. We'll just talk about Charlie. I am in love with Charlie. I adore Charlie. Charlie and I are now like besties forever. We will work together again. There's no question. Like we feel very deeply collaborative together. Yeah. Charlie was also the one who had the biggest moments where they would be like, da, 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 da. And then there's this one line where they would say, to win time. And we would all be backstage every time and just go, and everyone would just throw their hands in the air and go, time. And I just love that. So I thought that's what you're going to talk about. In fact, you were talking about the opposite thing, pull in.
But it's all one thing because that time moment has more impact because the rest of the time, the character is so pulled inward that when they come outward bigly, it pays off. Love it. That was so cool. And I could see easily, like you could have a projection problem where it's like, hey, we can't hear you. We need more from you.
Luckily, we were mic'd also. It very helped. They mic'd us. It's an outdoor stage. We have the luxury. They don't usually mic the plays, but they did this time because there was so much music in it. And it gave us the luxury of being able to occasionally go, well,
yep. Really fun, Cass. It was such a good play.
Thank you. I just wanted to call out that it is 1:15, and I know you got to go at like 55, probably.
Yeah.
So we got shit to do.
Yeah, let's do it.
We got mailbag. Mail. We need you know what? We need a song.
We do. Ding, 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 ding. Mailbag.
Will you grab that piece of audio, Desmond, sync it up and use this from now on?
I love that idea. Can we please do?
And I might throw my own in here too, just because I had a weird night last night and it was so specific that I wanted to share the dream and maybe we could just get a quick read on that as well.
Do it.
We have some emails from folks. We have a long message from Allison that we're not going to play. I will give the digest version of it. And I got all of the child's details and stuff as well. So we have anything you might need if you want to go into that.
Okay.
The question from Allison Lynn, former, guest of the show and friend of the show, avid listener. We have a question. We have a testimonial from a listener, which I just wanted to read.
Yes.
We have a question about distractors channels.
No,
well, that was from Rami,
right?
But you also had the one from Danny about distractors.
Oh, distractor implants. Okay.
Distractor implants, yes. And then we have, I think we talked about the things with the thing with Rami. Oh no, and that's the same email that has the weekend in it.
Okay.
And then there's a big one for Rami, and we talked about having them on as a guest, and I think we just need to do it. We just need to set up another Rami full guest time for Rami's questions. So let's set Rami's questions aside.
Okay.
And we're just going to do a whole episode.
Hey, what's up? Rami here. Oh, Israel. Oh, Israel. How long do you get to use the excuse of your very, very real trauma to justify traumatizing others? Forever? You can never have true justice if what you're seeking is vengeance. Somebody said something like that. You can't have justice and vengeance at the same time. They're not actually the same thing. Rami's rules.
So, all right, wait. So let's start with the distractor implant one, because I can just answer that without going in.
Great. Let me pull that one up. I have all the emails right here.
While you're listening, anybody, please, if you guys want a deep dive into your human design, just book book a session and we'll do your human design. I'm so in love with empowering people with these tools. It's like my favorite thing to do in life. Maybe you could just do it as a favor to me.
I mean,
For me.
just pay the money, but still, it's a good
For
thing.
me. No, but it'll change your life and empower you. And I'm just going to have a blast doing it. So I hope you guys will get your readings. KatieRubin.com.
All right. So my buddy Danny, who I kept wanting him to listen to the show and he never listened. And then suddenly he listened and then he binged,
Yes, binging.
He went crazy and just binged, listened to a whole bunch. And I'm just going to read his email real quick and then we'll talk about it. Hi, Katie. Just listened to episode 171 and loved it. Bravo. So insightful and thought-provoking. The episode was the one entitled Plastic Surgery for the Soul. Pretty recent. Great synergy and flow. Gave my brain the reboot it needed as I'm recovering from being sick. Quote, distractor implants. Wow. I searched for that term along with death metal or music in general and can't seem to find anything on it. If you could send me a link, that'd be awesome. I also really like the nuanced discussion of cultural appropriation. That was with Anna Ishida in the episode.
Right.
And then as far as the weekend's ostensible new facial appearance, we talked at length about what's he thinking.
Yep.
He says it still was an art prank. The Danny, who's really into music and weird art shit, knows it. He says, I assume you eventually figured out that it was an art prank.
No.
Not sure what the term the Weeknd himself would use. I couldn't find anything recent that points to any real changes to his face since the 2021 bathroom pic I assume you and Cass were looking at in September. So maybe we were looking at old information.
I'll say this much about this. I could not, no matter how hard I tried on the internet, I could not find a picture. I could not find any other pictures of the Weeknd's face distorted and all fucked up from surgery. So I think he's right. This was just an art prank and I fell for it.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. Although
I think that's maybe what happened because and it worked. We talked about it a lot.
A lot. I'm proud of them. No, it's like, that's the whole point of an art prank is like, you got to get people talking about shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I fully believed it. It's like, if you're just a tiny bit out of the loop on pop culture, you can really fall into some.
Yeah.
So thank you for clarifying that for us.
Yes. So he still wanted to know, you had brought up the thing about distractor implants in death metal and how they were useful because they actually took people off of the feeling of wanting to kill themselves.
Right.
Instead of feeding into it.
Yeah. So the reason you can't find anything about that is it's taught by Access Consciousness, and Access Consciousness is its own little universe that sort of like the information they teach is kept inside their world.
Can you find it on the dark web?
Maybe. I no longer work with Access Consciousness directly. However, like any smart integrating human, I took from that system the pieces of it that resonate for me and that are true and that I think are helpful to other people. There's a lot of great stuff they taught me in there. And then there's a lot of stuff I don't agree with that they teach. So I couldn't, in good conscience, keep studying with them because I didn't believe in their practices and how they treated their students and a lot of the things they taught. But distractor implants are one piece that I do see. I just see it happening for people that it does work, that death metal does a certain thing. So let me say a little more about this. Thing number one, if playing death metal or any kind of music temporarily keeps someone from wanting to kill themselves, A, fuck yeah, hooray. I'm glad that's a thing. B, understand that it's a Band-Aid. And it's not solving the problem or healing it. It's just a temporary, it's like turning the volume off on a screaming radio channel. The guy is still screaming on the other end. So it's probably going to have to get dealt with. Now, C, that's why a lot of people, not everybody, I can't speak for everybody, of course, in any group, no group is a monolith. But a lot of people get really, really into death metal. You know how death metal people are death metal from when they're 16 to when they're dead?
Right. They're committed.
Like 8-year-old guys with Megadeth shirts on. And you're like, really?
Yeah.
But it's because for some people, that's the degree. It works for them to play Megadeth to not have their fucking distractor implants distracting them. So that's as far as they've gotten on their healing path. They didn't heal it, but they have a tool that mitigates it. To which I say, fuck yeah, rock on. You're not hurting anybody unless you're hurting somebody.
Wait, let me be clear on the use of the term distractor implants. The death metal mitigates the distractor implants, or the death metal is the distractor implant?
The first one.
So what is a distractor implant? Again, just as simply as you can put it.
Okay. That term is an access. I don't know it to have been said anywhere other than access consciousness. I could be wrong. It might have been used by other people. I don't think so, though. They define it as sort of like, I'm going to use my language. Here's how I experience it. When you have certain kinds of trauma, your brain loops. It does a lot of ruminating and looping and spinning on negative ideas, or it can get OCD and obsessive on negative ideas, self-hate. You'll loop anger, blame, shame, regret, guilt, anger, rage, fury, hate. They will loop in your head and you won't be able to get out of that loop. The access version is like, there's this thing called a distractor implant creating that loop. Now, whether there's actually a distractor implant or it's trauma creating the rumination cycle is not the point in this conversation, because the point of this conversation is when you play death metal and you have those particular kinds of loops running in your head, the death metal will pause it. It's like it pauses the rumination. So the second you turn the music off, it's back. But you put the music on and you feel better.
But it gave you a little break.
That's right. So I don't know how to direct him to anywhere about it. You'd have to like be inside of Access Consciousness and buy their literature, which you can do. You can go become an Access Consciousness acolyte. Good luck to you. I don't recommend it.
TM.
Is that
I think that answers it.
Okay.
I wanted to share. Here's what I think we should do. I'm going to share a testimonial just to make us feel good, and I think you'll enjoy it. I think it's just a good one. And then let's do a real quick my dream, but then let's devote the rest of the time that we have to Allison's question, probably. And then if we get to the other one, we do. But if not, we put it off.
What I'll do is I'll open yours and Allison's records.
Bam. And maybe even Jerome's.
Yes.
The kid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great. All right. So very quick testimonial. Boom, boom, boom. Just for the ease of it, I'm just going to leave all names out of it just because I'm not sure, and that's fine. Hi, Katie and Cassidy and Desmond. You helped me quit my true crime addiction 3 full months ago, and I wanted to share how it was going. I'm excited to report I have not listened to any true crime nor had any desire for it at all since the podcast healing. I remember that it is something I used to be obsessed with, but it is just no longer part of me in any way. It's like how I used to smoke, but after finally really quitting, that is just so far from anything I am now that I'd ever think about having a cigarette. Not in the same universe as something I want. It's fascinating. Katie had mentioned removing the true crime would assist me with my connection to spirit. I used to connect with spirit during my meditation practice and walking meditation. Now it's like that channel is always on. I can chat with the universe and consciousness anytime without needing to do anything in particular to drop in. What? They wrote, what? I didn't write what. That wasn't me editorializing. I believe there is some divine timing involved with this because the idea of quitting before was just not on the table. Same with cigarettes. Wasn't going to happen till it did. Spirit is now asking me to remove refined sugars from my diet as a way to make my channel clear. Because I'm being asked and I know I have help, for the first time I'm willing to give it a try. God willing, I'll stop eating added sugar.
Alhamdulillah.
That's a biggin. It's as much as cigarettes.
Son of a bitch.
Or maybe harder. I am so grateful to all three of you and your continued help and excellent content. I really appreciate all you do for us. I would not be who I am today. Someone with much more inner peace than I ever thought possible when I was operating from a place of fucked up, self-harming, disgusting, and a putrid biohazardous cesspool of filth without all the answers. You're doing the good work. Thank you.
My goodness. Talk about expressive language.
Yes.
Thank you, person.
And you know who it is.
I mean, I feel like anyone who listens might know who it is because you said their name when they asked the original.
About the, yes.
Yeah.
Great. You can do your research, people. Figure out who it is. The true crime person.
I'm so happy to hear it. That's like more than, that's the kind of shit that keeps a lady like me doing what we're doing.
Motherfucking right.
Yes, man. Thank you for telling us seriously, because like I always say on here, we're always saying, please write to us and tell us anything you want to say or know, because it makes us be like, oh, people give a shit. And in my case, working with clients a lot of the hours every day, I deal with a lot of people's difficulty making changes.
Yeah.
As a person whose whole job is to facilitate change, it's so helpful and satisfying and encouraging to see somebody actually doing it. What? Speaking of what?
What?
Thank you for doing your work, mystery person. And thank you for sharing that with us. That means the world.
It really does. It's deep. And it also helps people to know that like change, it sounds like so trite now to say it, but like change is possible, like, and significant change is possible. I'll share that my panic reaction, we did a little work here. I did a little work with Denise recently, a little light parts work. And then we did some more here in the podcast, some parts work. And I have a thing in my body that has been there for a really long time where I can get triggered into panic. Not like a panic attack, but just like, okay. That kind of energy. And it'll happen sometimes when I'm traveling. I'll be like, I got to find the place, or, I'll run ahead instead of just being like, we'll find it, or just there's a lot of different ways that it can get triggered in my body for different things. And we did some work on it. We did some work on it here, and I've just watched it it's a weird thing to watch something not happen, but watching the things that would panic, that would spin me, and watching the impulse without the affliction, right? To be able to go, I have a feeling about that.
Yep.
But not, I have a feeling about that I can't control. It is totally out of scale with what's happening.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and that is 100% the podcast.
Oh my God.
Partially because I met Denise because of the podcast. And then you and I did the work, and we've done a lot of work, and I've been healed massively. So, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. I'm working off all kinds of negative karma.
Yeah. Doing your thing. Plus I think, you'd be doing the work anyway, but you have this other place that you're bringing it's almost like we are accountability. We, the listeners, are accountability partners for you. Because you're constantly sharing the healing that you're doing. And in a sense, I wonder if that also helps you to have to do it more.
You know, what's funny about that is this is a blessing and a curse about me. One of the gifts of me, I got this from my dad. I can't take credit for it. It was just in there. And then it's been a piece of deconditioning that's been pretty easy for me because I was raised by my dad.
Right.
My dad's like an eccentric weirdo who's like, I'm fucking weird. Deal with me, America. I give no fucks about you. And like actually doesn't,
Yeah.
So for me, I'm always like, I don't feel the social pressure to I don't owe anybody my health.
Right.
I don't owe you people because I told you I'm not drinking espresso to not drink it.
So we're not really accountability partners.
No, because I'm too fucking stubborn and I don't give a fuck. I don't care if I fail you. Now, that is not great all the time. Like sometimes really great because I'm pretty free and I don't feel very pressured to I don't give a fuck. But it would be nice to give some fucks because then I wouldn't do the stuff. It would help me if I gave more fucks. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like sometimes social pressure is it'll keep you off your espresso or it'll keep you on your food plan or that was always my problem with Overeaters Anonymous is I learned with OA that the basic gist of OA, oh God, let me not reduce it entirely. It's a complex place and it's wonderful and people get a lot from it. And a lot of what's going on there is the social pressure to stay on your food plan.
Yeah.
And I just didn't care. I was like, you guys can judge me. I had 3 pizzas. Fuck you. I just couldn't.
So not how you're wired. It's not in your design. It's not in your circuitry.
Too much fucking Aquarius, too much individual circuitry, whatever. So that's not good or bad. That's just how it is. And so it has its pluses and minuses. And I have to find other ways to motivate myself that aren't, people are going to be saying I said I would do a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do feel the social pressure. Feel it. And then I just go, well, I failed. That is.
Oh, well, what are you going to do?
But thank you. But wait, let's acknowledge, and then we'll go into the thing. The podcast helps me in a million ways. It doesn't happen to be that one, but oh my God, I'm getting so much out of this. I'll tell you the main one. I'll tell you a couple quickies. When people write us back and say that something we did helped them, that's everything for me. That's everything.
Yeah.
Getting to share these gifts and it matters to people. That's satisfaction. That's generator satisfied, my life purpose fulfilled. Number 3, here's where accountability does matter and does work with me is the ways that I've had to grow as a healer and a person in order to do a better job for people a lot. Like it was really hard for me when I really thought there was going to be like devastating earthquakes and a tsunami in California.
Right.
And there wasn't. I really had
really
to, like,
disappointed that there wasn't devastation, but
well, I mean, it's
no, I know what you mean.
yeah. I mean, it's humbling and embarrassing to be like, I said that here and a lot of people listened and like, I'm still here saying stuff. That's very humbling. So I need the humility that comes with being public about this stuff. It's good for me. It's good to keep me right-sized and keep me humbler than I would be without, you make a bold statement on a podcast and like people's lives are affected. So I learned to a deeper degree how much that really matters. And we have more impact than we think we do.
Yeah.
Like I come from such a low self-esteem in my early life and like so much trauma that like part of me was like, who cares what I fucking say?
Right.
It doesn't matter.
I don't matter.
I don't matter. But then even if 9 people are listening and they invest, that fucking matters. You matter. It's clear to me that people listening matter. So that makes me up my game.
Yeah.
Because I care.
There's the accountability. It's just like,
Yes.
yeah, that we are accountable to everybody in the world. We are.
And I care to not give misinformation. I care a lot. So if that means I have to like dig deeper and learn some more tools and see what was going on there, that's very much where the accountability does.
Plus, God knows if we'd still have a friendship if we hadn't had the podcast. We'd be cool. We'd be like, we're buds.
Right.
She moved away. She moved around the country. I lost her.
Right.
Oh, well. Oh, you're back? I guess we could get together. Like.
Open centers, son of a bitch. I would have been like, Cassidy, what are you doing? Want to hang out? Where are we going? And we still, hi, we're friends forever. You'd be like,
I'm open ajna, man. I don't care. It's cool. Whatever.
Maybe not.
I'm not defined by that. All right. Let's open some records. Let's do Allison's first, just in case that takes the whole time.
What's your last name?
I'm going to give you so many names right now. Are you ready? I texted her right before this, so I have all the information. I have all the answers. All right. So, yeah, this is, Allison. Allison Lynn. So Allison asked us a question regarding her son, Jerome. So it probably behooves us to get into both of those. So the names are Allison Jean Lynn and Jerome. This is a little bit longer. Are you ready? Jerome Lee Hayin Lynn.
Got it.
And Allison Jean Lynn, or Jeanne.
And Cassidy.
And Cassidy Jamal Brown.
Okay. All right. Here we go. I kind of feel like I could just do this. No. Okay. I'll do it out loud. So we'll close our eyes. I am going to go a little quickly just for time. We'll take a few deep breaths into the low belly. And we'll drop the shoulders and soften the belly muscles. Inhaling into the low belly, exhaling from the low belly, feeling our feet flat on the ground. See the little spinning foot chakras start to spin open at the bottom center of each foot. And as they open, we're going to see 500 tree roots of light anchoring down into the earth hundreds of miles through the open window of each foot. Through the left foot, through the right foot, 1,000 roots of light anchoring down and in. As the body stays loose and open, the shoulders stay dropped and relaxed. The throat stays loose and open. The tongue muscle softens. The jaw loosens. The eyes loosen. And we'll watch our bodies from the feet up become big, huge tree trunks of conscious light that expand left and right, forward and back and upwards, infinitely in every direction. Seeing hundreds of thousands of branches sprout off the infinitely tall top of this tree, and millions of leaves grow off those branches. As we become open, spacious receptacles of psychic awareness, spiritual downloads, consciousness, while also being rooted and grounded. And from here, we do acknowledge the forces of light, asking for guidance, direction, and courage to know the truth. As it is revealed for our highest good and the highest good of everyone connected to us. Holy Spirit of divine light, protect me, please, from all forms of self-centeredness and direct my attention to the work at hand. Help me to know, Jerome Lee Hyen Lin, and Cassidy Jamal Brown, and Allison Jean Lin in the light of the Akashic Records. Help me to see Jerome Lee Hyen Lin, Allison Jean Lin, Cassidy Jamal Brown through the eyes of the Lords of the Records, and enable me, please, to share the wisdom and compassion that the masters, teachers, and loved ones of these three people have for these three people. And I'll go quiet for just a moment here. Okay. Okay, so let's start with you, Cass, if that's okay, and your dream.
Okay, we'll just go real quick through that. I just had nonstop dreams about packing to go on a trip or returning, like trying to get my shit together to catch a plane to fly back home, or a train or a car or a Airbnb that I couldn't find everything, that I'd lost something. That was the content of every moment of all of my dreams last night. And it was, none of it was awful, but it was all pretty like frustrate panic. Not panic. That also, I wasn't ever in a panic, but I was like, it was exhausting. I didn't sleep well because I was constantly searching and trying to pack and some of it was like getting on a train or getting to the train or getting to a bus or getting to a plane. So it was either packing or trying to get to, rarely actually traveling.
What would you say the dominant emotional state was? Frustration or something else?
I feel like the dominant emotional state was always just out of reach. That energy of like, I'm almost. Not quite frustrating because it never was frustrated, because it was always, I'm almost there. Like I never missed anything. I never made it. But in the dream, I never failed. But I was always almost there.
Okay.
And I don't even know what the question is. What the fuck was going on?
Yeah. So here's what I get. Oftentimes when we have a dream that's this vivid, dreams are the unconscious mind working through processing emotions or thoughts and feelings that are not getting processed during conscious time. So this was the processing of that specific feeling. I'm almost there. I'm almost I'm going to say more about the feeling itself in a second, but this was your psyche, body, emotions, mind processing how often you feel that way or have felt that way in a way that you haven't been processing while awake. So it's sort of like doing the emotional work for you that you haven't been able to do on that topic while awake. You have mentally understood the topic in your waking time. You have shifted your mind around it in the waking time. You have a new relationship to it in the waking time. But the emotions need to be processed through the system of your body. And that's what this was. So let's just see though. They want me to be a little more specific and articulate about the actual feeling. Okay. They're pointing me to the thing about the Enneagram 3, where the 3 can lose, how the 3 can lose connection to its center, emotional center most easily. And its sort of gut center most easily because it's in pursuit of fill in the blank. And so this is everywhere in your recent life where you've been in pursuit of and gotten a little ahead of your body so that there wasn't time or energy or space to process the emotions of the moment. This is those moments being processed. Hallelujah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What's cool too is that you saw the dream so clearly, remembered it, and brought it up. So this is as conscious as you've been in this lifetime about this topic. they're talking about in the pursuit of, looking forward, heading toward, trying for, more than, I don't know, another way you could frame that. Does that make sense?
I think so. I'm just sort of trying to take it in without fully mentally grasping it.
Okay.
Yeah. But I feel you.
Yeah. This would be a good one to listen back to in a little while.
Yeah. I need to do it again.
Okay.
Cool. Well, let's jump to the Allison. I'm going to just mentally regurgitate. Allison left us a really long voice memo telling us some really great stuff. We don't have time to play the whole memo, so I'm just going to boil it down. Allison's son, Jerome, who's about 2 years old in a few weeks, or two and change old, just recently started not sleeping right, or sleeping in a more challenging way for the parent. Started climbing out of his crib immediately, like almost immediately after being put in, started not, refusing to go to sleep and screaming by the door if they closed the door. And sometimes Allison even would just leave the door closed and let the kid cry himself to sleep on the other side of the door on the floor, because what else are you going to do sometimes? And then sometimes when he is sleeping, he's having night terrors, which she has learned not to interrupt. You just sort of be there with them, but don't try and shake them out of it. But like he's screaming or freaking out in his sleep. And she's just asking if, is there something that's going on? Like, is there something that's happening specifically external or anything? And also, is there anything she can do to support him in learning, in teaching him this valuable tool of sleep?
Yeah. Okay. Give me just a moment. I hear it. I get it. All right. Okay. This one always feels a little dicey to me to talk about, because it's it has the language of this. I mean, I should say Allison will be fine with this. It's just talking about it on the podcast is a little bit.
There's a lot of opinions out there about child rearing.
Well, yeah. And about this idea, I'm going to say, so I'm asking, like, what's the cause of this? Is it a developmental stage? No. Is it, and then I go through my list, right? Is it trauma? No. Is it entity or entities? No. Demon or demons? No. Shaitan? Yes. Shaitanic energies? No. Implants, explants? No. But shaitan itself. Okay. So this idea of shaitan, right? Like the best way I could talk about it here to speak to the widest group of people would be to say, this is the energy of darkness that wants to snuff out light. You don't have to panic, Mom, because shaitan is easily cleared by someone who knows what they're doing. The good news here is this is an energy that is messing with your child that can be cleared. And it is a serious energy that we don't want to leave with your kid, with Jerome. We don't want him growing up with this and never clearing it, because, shaitan is trying to snuff out the light. It doesn't. And then shaitanic energy also then can attract entities and demons. And then the young kid starts to make bad choices. I mean, it can all snowball. It's not going to, because you're his mom, and here you are addressing it. So I'm asking if we can clear it now, and they give me a no. I think it's because we need a bit of time to focus in on Jerome himself. Like, you and I should have a one-on-one where we're doing a session through you for him. I'm also asking, is it in the house? No. Is it in the house? No. It's coming from other people he's been around, and it's just sort of jumped onto him because that's what it does. Is there anyone she needs to keep? Allison would benefit from keeping Jerome away from. Yes. Okay. Will you tell us who that is now? No. Okay, again, so this is another topic of conversation for us to have privately. Allison, a person for you to keep Jerome away from, who is someone who, that is not a great energy. Someone who is not, let's say, not invested in their own well-being, their healing, their transformation, their spiritual alignment, just not someone who's really on a growth path right now and is not doing so well. So, but it may be covert in this person. It might not be obvious to you. So again, good news, don't panic. It can be cleared and you can avoid picking up more and having Jerome pick up more by staying away from this person. So everything's going to be okay. There you have it. I also like this because it's not like some bad trauma happened or he's teething or something that's like totally out of your control. It's more something we can clear. Does that have anything to do with past lives or karma or entities or demons? No. Okay, well, shit. Shaitanic clearings, I do them all the time. So let's clear it when you're ready. I usually, I would say, let's just do it here, but they give me a no on that. So I think it's because we want to do a bit of a deep dive and really get it thoroughly removed. Oftentimes with night terrors, the shaitan is at least a part of it. And sometimes there's other influences, but in this case, not. In this case, it's just shaitanic influence.
And is there anything else, Allison, just on this sort of practical parenting level can do in terms of
No.
practice? And it's really is just this energy.
Because once we clear it, there is some stuff she can do, which is there's certain music you can play in the house, like just spiritual chants and stuff, high vibration music or chanting or kirtan that keeps this kind of energy away during a sort of acute period of time where the energy is moving out and we want to kind of protect the field of the child for a little bit. It won't be permanent. It doesn't have to be permanent. It can be permanent if she wants it to be. You can even play this kind of music or kirtan silently while he sleeps in the room. But that's something that will need to happen once the current offending energy has been cleared.
Great.
Good news because it's actionable and we can do something about it.
Yeah. It's totally a thing that can be done.
All right.
That's it. We got it. And I know you got to go, so we shouldn't start a new question.
All right, let me close these records. I want to thank the masters, teachers, and loved ones for their love and compassion, the lords of the records for their point of view, and the Holy Spirit of light for all knowledge and healing. As that you return Jerome Lee, Hay, and Lynn, and Allison Jean Lynn's energy to themselves. I already closed your records. Ask that you return them all to their complete human wholeness. The divine portal and the Akashic records of Jerome Lee, Hay, and Lynn, and Allison Jean Lynn are now closed. Amen. The divine portal and the Akashic records of Jerome Lee, Hay, and Lynn, and Allison Jean Lynn are now closed. Amen. The divine portal and the Akashic records of Jerome Lee, Hay, and Lynn, and Allison Jean Lynn are now closed. Amen. 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 Shadow and land. Shadow and Muhammad. Ooh, man, I'll tell you something funny. Squeezel was really involved in that one. She gets on my lap sometimes in a very insistent way when we're going into somebody's records that needs her light involved. So, and then as soon as I start saying the closing prayer, she's like, cool. She stands, stretches, shakes it off. She's like, we're all done. Great. Thank you. And I'm like, you're amazing.
You got a little familiar there, a little witch familiar.
Real.
It's the real deal.
All right. Well, hey, I love everybody. Thank you for those questions. Thank you for all of that, Cass, and holding all that space and everything.
That was good stuff. I liked it. We kept it tight, and you still have 5 minutes to take one breath and then go see another client.
I love you guys.
I love you. Do all of the work that is yours to do.
Bye.
What are you asking for? All of the answers? Say what? All of the answers? Yeah, all the answers.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. We'd love to hear from you. Please email us with your questions so that we have questions to answer in the Akashic Records. Our email address is allanswerspod@gmail.com. That's allanswerspod@gmail.com. And if you'd like to find us on Facebook or Twitter, it's @allanswerspod, @allanswerspod. Thank you.
Mail call.
Mixed and edited by Desmond McNeese for We Mixed It, LLC. Go to whatsoundsawesome.com.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.